Hey, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. Grandpop coming to you from the living room in Jack's Beach, and I want to talk to you about fasting. I'm getting ready to do a 65-hour, give or take, water fast. We'll talk about what that means in a second. Right now, I'm smelling delicious food upstairs that your grandmother's making. I'm getting ready to start the fast tonight. I'm going to start after dinner tonight, and I'll break the fast sometime Wednesday early afternoon. So it'll be around 65 hours. My plan is to do this every other month. So it's June of 2024 right now. So August, October, December. And this is my second one like this. Although the first one I did 80 some hours because I broke the fast on Thursday. I started Monday morning and broke the fast on Thursday. So this is a little bit different, but I had some success with that one. But first, why would you ever put yourself through 2.5 days of hunger pangs and weakness and bad breath? Because that's all part of it. Why would you fast? Well, there are benefits. And the benefits, there's three of them, are to reboot your gut microbiome. Right now, I just finished a 21-day antibiotic course because I'm pretty sure that I have Lyme disease, although I tested negative for it. But your grandmother picked ticks off of me. I was in a national park. There were warnings about the ticks having Lyme disease. I got them all over me. I probably have that. Antibiotics kill the bad microbes, but they also kill the good ones. So this is something that allows your gut microbiome, your microbiota, to replenish itself. And at the end, I'll be doing some fermented foods, which helps with that. So that's the first one. The second one is to pause the insulin roller coaster. I say quite often, life is like, and then I'll say something. Well, life is like an amusement park, but not in a fun way. And the reason is because you get on a roller coaster every day. When you eat or drink something that has sugar and stuff like that in it, carbohydrates, you cause your blood sugar to start to spike. And because that happens, your body secretes insulin, which lowers the blood sugar. And then you don't eat for a couple hours. You eat again, you have, like whatever, a ho-ho or a ding-dong, something that's really bad for you. And you send that roller coaster up again, and then insulin starts shooting into your system, and it drives it down again. So it's good to stop that from happening for a while. And then the last thing is to lose weight. 200 and I think 6 days ago, I took off a surgical boot, which I had worn for 5 weeks. So I really couldn't exercise. When I took it off, I was 216 pounds. I started to exercise. I went to physical therapy. I followed the plan. I only lost a pound. Right? That was it. So I was around 215 pounds 2 months ago when I did a water fast. And at the end of it, I was at 200 pounds, and I've been able to stay there, plateau there. I've improved my eating habits, and we eat pretty good. But if you want to improve something, keep a record of it, count it, measure it. And so, we're going to get into that measuring. I'll be measuring as I do this. So, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So lose weight is the third one. Sorry, I didn't pop that down there. So with everything in life, there's good and bad. We talked about the benefits. Well, what are the caveats? What are the things that you have to watch out for that'll keep you from being successful in doing a fast? And trust me, Olive and Arlo, you won't even be looking at this video until I'm dead and gone. And that's fine. Frank, you could do a fast now. It would probably help you. Well, what are some of the things before you decide to only drink water for 3 days, 2.5 days, whatever? What do you want to use caution about? First off, you want to talk to your doctor. If you have a doctor that goes like, yeah, that's stupid, don't ever fast, listen to what they say, and my advice is go get another doctor that understands that this is not a bad thing. People have fasted forever. Christians fast, Jewish people fast, Muslims fast. They do it as part of their religion. So if you have a doctor that goes like, well, this is stupid, maybe your doctor is stupid. But you do want to talk to them. You want to have one that's going to be able to guide you in what you're doing. So you want to let your doctor know, hey, I'm going to do a water fast. I told mine. He's a guy named Dr. Johnson. I'm on some prescription medications, and some of them you shouldn't fast, and some of them you could maybe adjust how much you take based on the fast. Your doctor can look all that stuff up. I imagine that I could look it up too, but I'd rather my doctor look it up because he actually went to school for that stuff. And also, besides adjusting prescriptions, you might talk to your doctor about finding out if you have any nutrient deficiencies. He can look at your blood work and say, I would take this supplement because you have this nutrient deficiency. So it's always good when you do something like this to talk to your doctor about it. That hopefully you're going to have doctors that are proactive in your life. Now the other thing is, besides speaking to your doctor, you want to let your family know that you're doing this. Why do I say that? Well, if you're a kid, yeah, you're definitely going to let your family know that you're doing this. But if you're an adult, you should let your family and or loved ones know that you're doing this, because there could be changes to you that people will go like, wait a minute, you're acting really, really weird. And they can get you to contact your doctor and say, look, my family's saying I'm acting weird. What's going on? Because you are going to really change what you put in your body for a couple of days. Yeah, here, Grandma, I'm up there cooking away. It's sort of like the Last Supper. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's not as important as the real Last Supper. And then the last thing is to scale back your exercise, because you're not going to have all the protein, nutrients, and fats, carbohydrates, things like that going into your body. You're just going to have water. So you still want to exercise, but you want to cut back. Now, what's the plan? Should have a plan for everything, especially stuff like this. So here's my plan. I'm going to keep a diary, and I'm going to set a timer. And I've downloaded this app that tells me, like, hey, here's how long it's been since your last meal. So at the end of it, we'll be able to figure out, well, how long exactly did I go without eating anything? Because trust me, if I eat something in the middle of this, this is over. I'm not going to play games. But keeping a diary is really important too. Like I say, whenever you want to improve something, measure it. So you keep a diary of what you're eating, then you know what's good for you and what's bad for you if you've done your research. So you're going to eat more good stuff than bad stuff, and you'll have the health benefits of that. Well, in this, you want to make sure that you drink enough water. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be just in this little book noting how many glasses of water I drink. So the goal is like 8 glasses of water. We'll see how I do. It's a water fast. I'm only going to drink water. Now, mineral water, sparkling mineral water with no sugar in it is okay. In fact, it's good for you because the minerals have like some nutritional elements that you really should have going into your body. So I'll be drinking in the very beginning when I get up tomorrow morning, because even though I'm going to start the fast tonight, I'm not going to be pounding a bunch of water and going to bed that way. No. I don't want to make that walk down the hallway that many times. And I'll be taking my medications, and I can't take them with anything. Normally, to get my pills down, I have to take yogurt or kefir, but I can't do any of that. This is a pure fast. So I'm going to take my meds, and I'll just chew what I can't swallow. It sucks, but sometimes things suck. Things that are good for you are probably not going to be easy for you. Now here's another thing. You want to keep your mind off of food. Like right now, my mind is totally on food because I'm hearing that it's a pork shoulder butt that's going in the pan, and That's going to be delicious. And I'm going to eat as much as I can for dinner because I'm not going to be eating for the next couple of days. And we'll talk about this in a second. But be engrossed in something to keep your mind off of eating. Your daily routine, like stay with your daily routine. I'll be exercising, although I'll be monitoring that. For me, a lot of my routine is YouTube. I've gotten away from it for various reasons that I don't need to get into, but I'm going to try to, get that back up to speed. Doing the Bible readings, doing the kids' books, and working on my other stuff, and playing my guitar and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna stick with that. Now, I just got a birthday present, an early birthday present of a Kamado grill, and I've been doing a lot of research on exactly how to use that grill to make delicious food. I have a recipe book here that I've been reading during the day, a recipe book on my nightstand, which I've been reading at night. I've been watching tons of YouTube videos about how to use the Kamado Joe Jr. But I'm going to not do that anymore. I'm going to pause all that until after I break the fast, because it'd be stupid to cause hunger pangs by watching somebody grill meat. It's stupid. And here's one more thing. If you can, when you do your fast, sleep in. Now, if you're working, you can't. But I'm retired, so I can. So I'm going to try to, not have my alarm clock set. Just get up when I get up. Oh, in case you're wondering, no beer for those 3 days. But anyway, you sleep in, get the extra rest, which you're going to need, because your body's going to be tired. It's going to tire out more easily because you're not getting the nutrients that you need. But also, you're asleep. You're not thinking about food. So, the pre-fast. I'm in the pre-fast right now. Sunday's my rest day for physical activity, so today I went on a 3-mile hike on the beach. And then I had a big breakfast. And there's all good stuff here. We have protein and fat. We have some carbohydrates here and here. This is plantains, 2 different sausages with some protein and fat. Got some fruit and some yogurt. Like I said, I use that to get my pills down. I like to eat fermented food every day. Now, I skipped lunch, and I haven't had caffeine today. Just worked out that way. I don't drink a lot of caffeine now. Usually tea, occasionally a cup of coffee. But I've sort of weaned myself off caffeine and skipped lunch, so I'm hungry right now. For dinner, it's going to be substantial. It's going to be like this plate of food here that you're seeing. And it'll have leafy green veggies, fat, protein, and then I'll have some more fruit for dessert. So here is the weigh-in before every heavyweight fight, any like boxing match and probably MMA and all that kind of stuff. They have the weigh-in. Now for me, the weigh-in is some health stats. Where am I right now? And we'll look at this at the end and see, like, it'd be really funny if I was, 200 pounds now, and then when I was done this, I was 230 pounds. That would suck. And that's not going to happen. So, my weight earlier today, 197.4. So I'm doing pretty good already. Blood pressure, not bad. Top on 145 is a tad high, but my blood pressure runs high. Now, one thing that I didn't mention, when you lose weight, it usually improves your blood pressure. So I'm hoping to get down to my goal weight of 185 during this, and then to figure out how to stay there. And we'll see what happens with that. And then my resting pulse rate is 69, which normally in the morning it's been in the 50s. That's low, but it's because of the medication that I'm on. And now I'm going to go up and help your grandmother get ready to eat. I'm going to pig out, and then I'll check in with you later. Until then, yeah. So anyway, I'm done eating, and I'm just about done with my last beer for a few days. So let's count it down. It's fast time. 3, 2, 1, go! And here's the app. I actually started it a minute ago because I don't have like an assistant. So I'll see you tomorrow morning, and we'll see where I am then, and I'll check in with you a few times over the next couple of days. Share things like my weight, my struggles, and that kind of thing. Till then, it did the balloons again. Oh, you gotta love the balloon. So it's Monday morning, and I'm fixing to do my half-hour jog. It's gonna be slow anyway. My goal is to do 2 miles in 30 minutes. I've gotten close, but no cigar. Maybe this will be the day I do it. Okay, so I did it. I did a little over 2 miles in what registered as 30 minutes. I did stoop to check out a possible shark's tooth, which was unfounded, but hey, I did it. It's the first time since, I don't know, maybe a year that I've been able to do this, and so I'm pretty happy, and it happened on the first day of my 65-hour fast. See you soon. Well, after the run, I was doing my stretches, and as I did the toe touch, which for me is an almost toe touch, I do it for 30 seconds.
15 seconds easy stretch, and then I stretch all the way into it for 15 seconds. As I was coming up, I got really dizzy. So I'm glad that I got this half-hour run in, because I don't know if I mentioned this before, but what you want to do is you want to cause ketosis. Ketosis is something that you go into when you lower your blood sugar. And you can actually get these keto sticks. The ones that I used to get, you peed on. But there's also ones where you stick your finger and test your blood. I'm sure they're more accurate. But you want to go into ketosis. You want to do it in the Atkins diet to make sure you're not getting too many carbohydrates. And you want to do it in fasting to ensure that the fast is actually started. So yesterday evening, when I raised that last beer and downed it, my fast started, but it really started as I came up and I was all dizzy. So now I know, like tomorrow, instead of trying to do a 15, 20 mile bike ride, I'm going to scale it down to 8 to 10 miles, and I'll go pretty easy. Then on Wednesday, I'll probably start my half-hour run, but if I get dizzy or really, really tired, then I'll just abandon that and turn it into a beach hike.
So, get this thing set up right. It's the afternoon of Monday, the 10th of June. And right now, I've been fasting for a little less than 20 hours. I weighed myself a little while ago and I'm under 196. So I'm going to bounce back up after I'm done this fast. There's no way I'm going to stay at whatever I hit. But it's encouraging. I mean, when I started this journey, I was at 216 pounds and had not been able to work out for 5 weeks because I had a surgical boot on. Now I was like 195.8. And that's with clothes on. So I might have been like 193 or 194. So anyway, I went for my run. I rested for a while when I got back. I'm pretty hungry. That'll start to go away sometime tomorrow. You start to lose the hunger pangs. I'm sure that the ketosis has kicked in, and that's what you want. Drives your blood sugar down. The reason that you go running or do some kind of exercise on the first day to make that start is that your body is searching for fuel. And so you want it to start to burn fat. If you're eating, it's going to try to burn the stuff that you're eating. And it's going to save the fat. What you don't want to happen is for your body to start to burn muscle. So, I mean, you don't want to go crazy with this stuff. You want to do it in moderation. The last time I did, I think it was an 82-hour fast. And so this time, it's going to be considerably less. And this time, the beginning of my fast was the end of a meal. The last time I ended the meal, I probably had a couple beers afterwards, and I went to bed at night. And then the next morning, I said, okay, this is when the fast started. So that was a pretty long fast. I doubt if I'm going to lose 15 pounds this time the way that I did the last time. But if I get down closer to my goal weight, that's going to be good. And anyway, I probably won't check in again today unless something crazy happens. The lightheadedness Actually, I figured out it's from a medication that I'm on. So I stopped taking that medication. It's not a life-threatening medication. And tomorrow, I'll go out. Hopefully that medication will be cleared out of my system and I won't have a problem going on my bike ride. I'm still going to cut it a little bit short, take my time. But hey, it's all good. I wish I could eat right now, but like I said in the beginning of this, you don't see many like 80-year-olds who are 215 pounds and 6 foot. Grandmother and I had dinner the other night with her friends. Well, it's her friend Pat and her husband Bill. Bill's, I think, 81, and he's thin as a rail, and he eats like a horse. But I can't do that. I don't think he exercises. He just is like that. Some people are. But he's built like an 81-year-old person should be. If he was 215 pounds, he'd be dying. So anyway, till tomorrow morning, peace out. No balloons that time, huh? Wow. Hey guys, about 20 minutes ago the power went out here. So I'll just give you a brief update in case I can't get on later. I am now one day, almost exactly, into my fast. Can never get used to doing this. So a little over 24 hours. And I'm feeling good. I have hunger pangs, but they're not that bad. So we'll put this day to rest, and I'm just going to read. Can't do anything, on the computer. I can on my phone, but the Wi-Fi's out and everything. So I'm going to shut this computer down and just read till it gets dark out. Till then, peace out. Yeah, there go those balloons. Tag, that was a lot of balloons. Hey, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. This is 193.6 pound Grandpa. Checking in with you. This is our fast, day by day. I should say my fast. And this is day 2. So, let's show this. So I'm over 36 hours right now into a 65-hour fast. It's like 20 after 7 in the morning, so at around 4 a.m. I went over the halfway mark. So I'm on the downside right now. And it's a little difficult, but I'm sticking with the plan. Yesterday, I did my 6 full servings of water. I probably could have done more, but I had to get up a couple times in the middle of the night. So my blood pressure's still a little high, but not bad. It's 154/75. My resting pulse rate this morning was 61. I was hungry last night, and it's hard to do this. Like I said, most of the best things in life are hard to do. It's not like just, hey, it's like rolling off a log or something. You have to really want to do it. But wanting to do it is not going to create this magic elixir where you can just power through it. We'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, I was sitting there thinking about, oh, this is hard to do. And this was as I was falling asleep last night. And I thought, yeah, I don't want to get done this and then go crazy. So tomorrow around noontime, I'm going to start to break the fast. And I always think about, Arlo, about your dad. Back in the early 2000s, I went down to Paris Island to watch your dad graduate from boot camp from the Marines. And they had put him through this, I forget what it was called, but it was sort of like a hell week. And they essentially starved them during this time. And then at the end of it, I forget if it was called the Maelstrom or whatever it was. But they tortured them, essentially, because they were getting ready to go to war. And your dad actually did go to war over in, well, he was in Kuwait and then Iraq. And at the end of this time, he graduated. He was skinny. I expected him to be this big, like, ripped Marine. And he was just like emaciated. All the guys were emaciated. And afterwards, it was me and Frank, your dad, was there with me. He came down with me. And then Tom's friend Josh. And we, got all his crap in the car. We had your great-grandpop's car, which was this old, it had turned into kind of a rusty hoopty by this time. But it was the biggest car that we had. It was the one that was best made for this kind of a trip, because I think I had a pickup truck then, and it only seated but so many people, and needed to transport people and stuff, but it was packed. And I said, so what do you want to do? And Tom said, I just want to go to a convenience store. Okay. And he went in the convenience store and just bought junk food, every sugary, fatty, salty, like just everything bad for you, artificial color, everything. And he just started to eat it. He said, this is what I've been dreaming of the whole time. And that's fine when you're 18 or whatever he was back then. You can do that and get away with it. I can't. And as you get older, you can't either. So what you want to do is to remember to measure what you're doing, which I did, and I'm still doing. Measure what you're doing. Don't go crazy. Don't make the measurement the whole focus, or you'll do nothing but measure things. But measure what you're doing to figure out what you're doing incorrectly, and then take one small step in the right direction. And as you continue to measure and take small steps in the right direction, you'll find that success builds on success. and eventually it becomes a habit. So when I'm done this, I'm going to have a plan for how I come out of the fast. And then I'm going to continue to monitor my weight, especially my weight. It's the most important thing here because I want to get to 185 and stay at 185. So measure, take a step in the right direction constantly. And you'll find that eventually it will become a habit. Now, here's a book that one of my former employees turned me on to, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. And there's all kinds of good stuff in here. But what you want to do is you want to create what's called a keystone habit. That habit is regular exercise. The biggest habit is to capture your data, you know, measure, write down. I keep a spreadsheet. And now the thing with this is, as you start to form this habit, you don't need to capture things. You can't have this as a part-time job, capturing your data. You want to capture it. Like my weight, I capture that every day. But if I'm keeping a food diary, I only keep it until I don't need to keep it. And then when I see that my weight's starting to go up, I start to keep the food diary again. And in the food diary, I'm saying, well, how many servings of leafy green vegetables, fatty protein, fruits, starchy vegetables. I'm measuring all that stuff, how much water I'm taking in. So right now, the only thing that I'm measuring is how much water I'm taking in, because that's all I'm eating. But once I get off this water fast, if I start to just eat all kinds of crazy stuff, giant bowls of ice cream and things like that, it's kind of worthless that I did this. So I want to continue that to go into the future. And it usually takes, well, Duhigg says that length can vary. To have something that you're doing every day become a habit. And you want to do it every day if you can. If you occasionally skip a day, that's okay if you can't do something, but you should do it. So there's things like, brushing your teeth. You should do that 2-3 times a day. You should floss at least once a day. You should use a water pick at least once a day. Those kind of things. You can skip every once in a while, but if you do them regularly, and some experts say it's like at least 2 months, more than 2 months, and it could be up to like 6 months, 8 months, that you do it every day and it becomes a habit. I started running back in the 1980s, probably around 1985. So I'm coming up on 40 years of running next year. And I've pretty regularly, if I was able to run, have gone out and run. I even wrote a book about running called Run for Your Life. How to live a well-rounded life with running as the center of it. And I'm back to running 3 times a week. I just hit that goal yesterday. I'm very happy about that. But if I take a day off from exercise and it's not a rest day, I'm bummed. So eventually those things become habits, and you want that habit to give you pleasure. Now, running is very easy for me right now, but the satisfaction of getting it done, of hitting that goal yesterday, that gives me pleasure. Being able to sit here and say, well, you know, I started this journey over 200 days ago, and I was over 216 pounds, and now this morning, 193.6. That gives me pleasure. But I want to be able to, tomorrow as I go into breaking the fast, to not go crazy and not do 18-year-old Tom just stuffing ding-dongs and ho-hos in my mouth. It was fun to watch, I will say that. We all had a good laugh over it. Anyway, peace out. No balloons this time, huh?
So I just finished my bike ride, and I stayed close to home just in case I felt lightheaded or overly tired, and I am tired right now. But hey, it's the price that you pay. So I went north. The wind's blowing out of the northwest right now. It's gonna shift to the southeast a little bit later. So I went to the north and came back, and I still needed like 15 minutes. So I went south and came back. And the wind wasn't too bad. But I did a little under an hour and a little under 10 minutes, or 10 miles. Guess I'm getting delusional now. And if I have the strength, I may go fishing. Now, I hope that if I catch a fish, that I'm not so hungry that I just eat it live sushi style, like Korean marketplace style. Just put the octopus in your mouth and start chewing. Anyway, see you later. Hey guys, I've been telling your grandmother to have some real food, cook some food, don't worry about the smell. She's worried that I'll get too hungry, and I have been hungry today. Last night she did some popcorn, and I could smell it for like 5 hours after. But I finally convinced her to cook something. She's making pork chops for herself, a pork chop, probably some fries. She said, give me an hour, so I'm going to give her at least an hour. I've been walking on the beach for 35 minutes. Feel good. Wasn't planning on doing another type thing, exercise type of thing, but hey, sometimes stuff happens and you do what you do. And so I might even go for a swim when I get back. We'll see. Anyway, see you in a little bit.
Well, good morning. And this is day 3 of my fast. I hit 190 on the scale yesterday when I got back from my hike. And I had clothes on. If I didn't, I would have seen something in the 180s. Now my goal is 185, not for this fast, but my long-term goal is 185. I just realized I didn't put my teeth in, so I might whistle a little as I'm talking to you. I don't need those teeth for a few hours. This morning, my weight is 190.6. And So once again, like when I weigh myself first thing in the morning, and I do it just about every morning, I I have clothes on. You know, I have shorts and a t-shirt, and I take my phone out of my pocket. My blood pressure is 126 over 67, and that's perfect. But I find that when I take my blood pressure, it's higher than when I go to the doctor's office and they take it. Now, I take it first thing in the morning, and they take it whenever my appointment is. So I'm going to start to go, every time I go over to Publix, they have a blood pressure machine, and I'm going to take my blood pressure there and see what it comes, where it falls in. My pulse rate is 58 this morning, and that's normal. But I am lightheaded. I'm seeing all kinds of, I think they call them floaters, and I'm seeing patterns. It's like a flash of light. It's very hard to read. When I look at my notes here, there's this big mandala of light in the middle of my vision sight. I had a very ambitious schedule today. I was going to go on the beach and run, and that still may happen, but I can't imagine that it's going to. This might just be a morning of resting. I was also going to go fishing, and I could still do that, but that's only if I get through this phase, and I suspect that I'm not going to. I mean, the last time that I did this, I don't remember going through this kind of a morning. Maybe I did, but I don't recall it. I didn't take notes from that. I didn't do a video on it or anything like that. So what's been happening so far? Because I'm doing this to guide you when you decide to fast someday. And if you're ever overweight, if you're ever pre-diabetic or diabetic, these are things that you want to, well, I don't want to say diabetic because then you may not be able to fast. And if you do, you don't want to take your insulin while you're fasting. So you want to have your doctor with a hands-on. But if you're pre-diabetic, if you have fatty liver disease, things like that, you'll want to fast. So what's been happening so far through these 3 days is my body's gone into ketosis. So it is, it has kept my blood sugar down. So I don't have that roller coaster of eat, blood sugar goes up, insulin starts to get pumped in, blood pressure goes down, get tired, eat, blood sugar goes up. I said blood pressure last time, but I meant blood sugar. And then insulin pumped in, blood sugar goes down. So that has stopped. My body is burning fat, but if I go out there and run on the beach, it might start burning muscle. So for right now, I'm gonna chill. Something called autophagy is going on, which is at the cellular level. My cells are repairing themselves right now, which they normally don't do. They get destroyed. Even if you have a pretty decent diet, they get destroyed. But in fasting, you start to repair those cells. The clearing out of the brain, although right now it doesn't feel like it's being cleared out. It feels like it's foggy. My immune system has been improved. Immune system's a big deal these days. It probably always was, but we just didn't know it. Also, I feel like I have swollen glands here, and a lot of my glands are gone. When I had the cancer surgery, they took a lot of lymph nodes out. So, and I assume that lymph nodes are glands, but I feel up in here like I have swollen glands. But my immune system is improving. Now, you can do a longer fast, and like 5 days is probably the best fast. But I just don't have the luxury of being able to do that. When you're married, you know, you do something like this. Grandmother, my hat's like really whack looking. There, that's less whack looking. You know, grandmother has to live with me while I'm doing this. So I want to just do so much and not too much. So 3 days is cool, but 5 days would be even better. Last time I did what essentially was a 4-day fast. Getting back to insulin, my insulin resistance is improving. So that's a good thing, because that's the thing that helps to control your blood sugar. So that's improving. And if you're pre-diabetic, you're going to want to do these occasionally to help not become diabetic. And lastly, fatty acid improving. That's a disease, fatty acid disease. So, right now, let's see. I am 60 and a half hours into this fast. And I'm making it happen. But I'll talk to you later. Up there's the balloons. There they are. Peace out. Hey, just got done my hike. Nice leisurely pace. No sense in trying to have some sort of an epic medical failure here. It's after 11 o'clock, so I'm within an hour of the end of this fast. And last night, I got really hungry. Into the evening, I actually had a cup of decaffeinated tea just to have like some satiation in my mouth. But today, right now, I feel like I could do this for 40 days, but I'm not. I'm going to break the fast soon and then let you know what the end result is. Okay, guys, so I am now breaking the fast. It's almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is hour 69. And so what I did is I planned to fast this way, that I would have liquids first, pure liquids. So I started with tea made out of holy basil from the garden. which is an herb. It doesn't taste like Italian basil or whatever, Thai basil. It's different. It's sweet. So I didn't do any herb tea during this time that I was fasting because I just assumed that they have some sort of sugars in them and that would just break the fast. I wouldn't know it, but it would break the fast. So when you put your body through something like this, and it's been rough, it's been very rough, you want to stick to your plan. First off, you want your plan to be a good plan. And then you want to stick to that plan if it's a good plan. So I had that holy basil tea, and I put just a smidgen of honey in there, just to get my body acclimated to, hey, sugars are going to be coming in, and so get ready. But it was enough that I'm sure that my body knew that there was sugars inside me, but I couldn't even taste it. It tasted like the stuff usually does, because it is kind of sweet tasting. And then I followed that up with chrysanthemum tea, which I got at an Oriental store. I think it's Vietnamese tea. I don't know why they put chrysanthemums in it. It's pretty good. I drink it, and I don't usually put any sugar, any honey, anything like that. No cream when I have that kind of tea. I like my tea kind of weak, but this stuff tastes very good. I could take this a little bit stronger than most kinds of tea. And I also put a smidgen of honey in that too. Then, and this started at noon. That was hour 65. So right after I did this, I'll show you a picture of this. At 65, I hit the button saying end fasting. So now it's telling me how long since my last fast. So that was 65, hour 65. And so at the end of this first 3 hours, from noon to 3, I had 2 cups of beef bone broth, which has some protein in it, has some salt in it, and everything's depleted from your body. People always want to have a low sodium diet, but when you're fasting, you need some sodium. In fact, some people say that by day 2, you should start to, at least a couple times a day, put some salt, not iodized salt, but like sea salt, kosher salt, something like that. Put them in and have that in there. So then, hour 68, 3 o'clock, your grandma made me an amazing smoothie. It had, let's see if I can remember, it had yogurt in it. So that's fermented food. Fermented food's very, very important, especially for me right now, because I just got done doing 3 weeks of an antibiotic, and that destroys your gut flora. And as I've said a couple times during this will help restore your gut flora. But now that I'm breaking the fast, I want to introduce a lot of that. So I had just that one smoothie. I had written down smoothies, but I'm cool. Now it's about 5 after 4. I have to get to 6 o'clock to hour 71. And that's when we're going to have dinner. And I'm okay doing that. In fact, I may even go down and take a walk, or maybe even take a run. So I had that one smoothie. It went well. And then for dinner, I had in my plan put something light like soup. But what your grandmother's making tonight? Because Wednesday night's one of her nights for making stuff, is a salad with a lot of leafy green vegetables and some grilled chicken. I might have told you that already. I'm an old man with a bad memory. So, let's get to the way out. One thing you know about me, if you know anything about me, Olive, Arlo, and Frank, is I'm way out. So I couldn't wait for this way out to find out how I did. Here's my health stats. My weight is 191.8. 181.8 would be awesome. I lost a little over 5.5 pounds. I started at 197.4. Now, this is something that varies by the day. You can get on the scale and weigh yourself, and then take your clothes off and get on the scale immediately afterwards without putting anything in your body, like without taking a drink of water or eating any food, and get on the scale, and it'll read higher. Same thing with blood pressure, which we're coming to now. It varies a lot. So usually when you go into the doctor's office, they take your blood pressure, and the nurse will take it. And she may say, oh, it's a little bit high. Well, most of the time, but especially if it's a little bit high, when the doctor comes in, he takes it. And it's not that he thinks like, well, she doesn't know what she's doing. I mean, she's a trusted professional who's probably worked at that office with that doctor for years. But he's taken it a second time just to have a second reading. Then he can look at what she got, what he got. So it varies widely. I don't want to say wildly, because it's not really wildly, but widely. It can vary. And so mine is 145/62, and it was 145/69. So it's a little bit better now, but I wouldn't put much into that because, like I say, it varies. And then the same with pulse. It's 58 today, and that was taken after my walk and when I was getting ready to break the fast. 58. That's a little bit low, and I'll bring that up with my doctor. But it was 69 before, and that was taken during the middle of the day too. So that's not bad at all. Well, let's wrap this up. This is a tool. There's a couple diets that I've been on in my life. One's Atkins, which is a high carb, low carb, high protein diet. And the other is Weight Watchers, which is a low calorie diet. So you always want to eat good food. You don't want to eat junk food. You don't want to eat like potato chips and pretzels and Hostess ding dongs and that kind of stuff, and popsicles all day. You want to eat good food, but there's a lot of different diets that have different ideas about what kind of food. So you can have one that says, well, eat good food, but just don't eat a lot of it. And then another one that says, eat these particular foods. And in some of them, they're like, you can eat just about as much as you want, but it has to be these particular foods. So in Atkins, that's the latter. You can eat a lot of protein, and it can be fatty protein. It should be fatty protein. And eat as much as you want, but you have to really limit your carbohydrates. And this works on your insulin reaction, your insulin resistance, just like a fast does. It's not exactly the same, but they're very, very similar. And you should exercise also. They want you to exercise. Weight Watchers, they say, look, you can eat this much of these type foods. They provide some of their own food, but I never ate that. I just made the foods that they preached. Both of them work. But the thing that I found out about both of them is after you get off them, it's very hard to maintain it. In Atkins, you're supposed to slowly add carbohydrates in, and eventually you may be able to eat spaghetti, like spaghetti and meatballs. But you'll just have a small thing of spaghetti, and it's very, very hard. I love pasta, I love bread, but that was my favorite diet. I was also on I think the South Beach diet for a short time. That's similar to Atkins. But there's other diets, like the keto diet. I saw one the other day called the bulletproof diet. It's very hard with any of these things to maintain this when you're done. Same thing with Weight Watchers. Like, for the rest of your life, are you going to eat this little tiny bit of food? Well, actually, even though Atkins has better results quicker, the Weight Watchers, you are more likely to say, like, I don't even feel like eating a lot of food anymore. But what they're best for is to shock your system. If you're gaining weight and nothing's working, go on Atkins for 2 weeks. Go on Weight Watchers for 2 weeks. And bam, they have, both of them have like introduction levels where you do this, and this is like Spartan living. And if you do that, you're going to see some real results, 5-10 pounds in a couple weeks. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. When I decided to fast the first time, and I've done fast before. I did a religious fast a couple times for, I think it's Yom Kippur. And I did a fast one time where I was fasting for a certain amount of time and then adding specific foods in one at a time, and then measuring my pulse to see if I possibly had food allergies. Which in a way was kind of stupid because I could have just gotten a food allergy test. So they're tools to use. They're not diets. It's very hard for somebody to be on Atkins for their whole life. They make candy and stuff like that. It's got artificial sweeteners in it. They make bread. It tastes horrible. Like, you want to eat real food. So I'm using this as another tool, and that's what it is. It's a tool where you can shock your body and then get back to eating just a normal regimen and exercising, because that's the other thing. One thing about losing weight is the easiest way to do it is to burn more calories than you eat. And this is one way to be able to do that. If I go out for a run later, I'm expecting to have a nice run, even though I'm just coming off the fast. But I have had some fruits anyway. And I guess an avocado is a fruit. So what's next? Every 2 months I want to do one of these. So sometime in August, I'm going to fast. And then every 2 months after that, Lord willing, I hope to do it. I'm also going to try some intermittent fasting. And I might try like a couple days of smoothie fast, that kind of thing, where I just have smoothies, all different kinds of smoothies with all different kinds of nutritious stuff in it. Just to see how that works. I like to experiment with things. So now, before I close this out, I want to give a shout out to a couple people. I've had problems with my Achilles tendons on both of my legs. Back several years ago, my left leg was run over, my left foot was run over by an SUV while I was out cycling. While your dad was with me. I had to go to the emergency room. It was not broken. My shoe was destroyed. And it saved my foot from being broken. It was a deep bruise, and I had to go to all kinds of physical therapy, get back to normal. But it's not 100% yet. But then I had the right side, and I don't even remember how I did it. But one day it was like, oh, this hurts back here, back of my leg hurts. And it was a torn Achilles tendon. Micro tears, but there was some pain involved and stuff. And I couldn't run for a while. And I had a physical therapist named Kayla in St. Augustine. She was wonderful. Unfortunately, even though Kayla gave me all kinds of good information, taught me how to get back to running, and supported me 100% in my goal of getting back to running, I did not listen to Kayla. So I wound up, I was on a long hike on the beach one day, barefoot, and I felt the same pain. I went to Dr. Reddy, who's your grandmother's doctor, and he said, you need to wear a boot. Yeah, okay, so I didn't wear a boot. A couple days later, I went over to get the boot, because he was like, you need to wear a boot for 5 weeks, and then you can go to physical therapy. So I did the 5 weeks, took it off. Day 1 of my plan, I'm in day 209 right now. And I then had a physical therapist named Shane. He was as wonderful as Kayla, the former physical therapist, was. Gave me all kinds of great information, support. We became friends, and I'm supposed to contact him, let him know how I'm doing. So we'll find out if he watches the whole video, because he'll have to get through this part to know that I mentioned him. I'm gonna send him the YouTube video. He gave me a lot of the same information. Some of it was different, but it was, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Both great stuff. Supported me in getting back to running. And then he set me loose when the end of my therapy was up. Now you might think, well, you listened to Shane, but you didn't listen to Kayla. Is that because she's a woman, or why? Well, no, I didn't listen to either of them. I listened to your grandmother. She said to me, listen, you had a physical therapist who let you get back to running, and you did the same injury. I want you to promise me that if it happens again, that you'll stop running. You can go walking, anything else, surfing, stand-up paddleboarding, hiking, anything else, working out at the gym. She didn't say I could be like a trapeze artist, but she probably wouldn't have liked that. And I said, okay, because sometimes you say okay to your wife when she's spewing some knowledge. So I listened to her. I didn't listen to either Shane or Kayla. So you're both awesome. And a shout out to both of you. I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart that I'm at least here. I'm 70 years old. In a couple months, I'm going to turn 71. And I went out very recently on Monday and ran 2 miles. Life is good. Peace out. No balloons this time.